Ian, tell me, I want to hear about your college planning experience, how you decided to go to college, how you ended up at the U.
Gotcha. Um, I think so. I always had this idea that I wanted to go to college, but to me, college was like this abstract concept. So knowing where I wanted to go, what I wanted to study, where I was going to live, like none of that was real. But I was going to go to college, and um, I know Upward Bound, which we've all been here. So I always knew I was going to go, and I think I drove my advisor crazy because I was interested in everything. And when you take those tests to tell you what you're interested in and what you should do, I'd score super highly in everything just because I'd be like. Um, so the one of the challenges initially was I was really involved in a lot of stuff, and I wanted to study engineering and medicine and pre-med and business and law and political science, and I couldn't decide what I really wanted to look for. Um, and my other struggle was where to go. So, like I said, it was kind of an abstract concept, but through Upward Bound, actually, after my freshman year. So for those that don't know, you'll meet with your advisor like once a month or once a week, sorry, or once a month, sorry, and then you have a monthly event with everybody in Upward Bound called the Saturday session. And then during the summer, you'll actually come on to St. Scholastica and you'll live there for 5 weeks, and you'll take not quite college classes, but like a college environment. You live in the dorms, you eat there, you interact with people that probably don't go to your school or that you don't know that are loosely associated with Upward Bound, and so you really get this pre-college experience. Um, and through that interaction, actually, we drove down to Tennessee and had this trip, which was awesome. And we visited Vanderbilt, and I like kind of fell in love with that college. I didn't know what I was going to study there, but I thought it was so cool and it was so pretty, and like their gift shop was like in Barnes and Noble, so I bought a Vanderbilt shirt, and I was just sure this is where I was going to go. As I got, and that was after our freshman year. So as I got a little bit older and got to junior, senior year, sports became the central focus, kind of like I said. And I came into my senior year with very little decisions being made, and I started to got a little bit of interest to play sports at the college level. But all the places that offered, I didn't really love, um, and so I kind of came to this conflict of sports has been kind of my core identity for so long, and I can keep playing that, and I can get paid to play it essentially. But I'm also deciding that sports are going to own my life for my college years, and it's kind of going to limit where I'm going to go. And that was really difficult to decide. Do I want to go to this place because I can just keep playing sports? I can do track or I can do football, or do I want to go so I can study something or get an education that I think might be, maybe better, maybe not. And so with my advisor, one of the things we talked about a lot was just what are you interested in, or where can you get a generic education if you want, and then have the freedom to transfer to something else, and then how do we start this process? So my advisor Nat and I would sit there and we'd say, okay, let's look at these places. Let's see, you're thinking business. I came down to I want to do business. What places have an undergraduate business school? Which ones can you just get a generic, master's of business administration? How does that look at a smaller college, starting a community college, or going to a 4-year? And at the end, I kind of came down to Augustana, which gave me a sports scholarship, and the U of M. And then I realized I knew I wanted business because I wanted that freedom to kind of explore in it. I wasn't sure what exactly business major wise. And I honestly, the very last day, I deferred everything, and I kind of had to decide. I think my education would be a little better at the University of Minnesota. I like the opportunities of being in a big city. It's going to be a lot more diverse. I'm going to see a lot of people that might not look like me growing up, and I want that exposure. But sports were on the other hand. And so I kind of finally came to that decision where sports were great, and I was really blessed to have that experience, but that's, for lack of a better word, time to grow up. And I'm deciding that at this point, I think my education could be better at the U, and that's the direction I wanted to go.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a pretty agonizing experience for you.
Yeah, I waited to the very last day, like the last minute, to totally
Really?
decide, which was not advisable. But
Yeah. And at that last minute, you decided that you were not going to go. You were given a scholarship. Is that what you said? You
yeah,
also,
I had a couple of athletic scholarship offers, and
what
actually, I
division?
think I went against the grain in the group, but I would have been totally free at the other place in terms of all the scholarships.
Right.
Whereas at the U, I still had some out of pocket at the end of every year, and that was hard, especially
Yeah.
Yeah.
So giving up the scholarship, actually having to pay and going to a place where, you're gonna have a very different experience. I mean, how many tens of thousands of people is what, 30 plus
Yeah.
thousand people?
I think our total is like 50K.
Yeah, so you're going from a big fish in a really small pond to being a very little fish in a really big pond.
Very little.
And then, yeah, I mean, and that's a huge transition leaving home, this place where you're probably like a hero, right?
I don't
Because
know about
like,
that. I
yeah,
would say that was probably one of the advantages too. Um, like someone mentioned earlier, I didn't want to stay in Duluth, and a lot of my friends from high school had to do that, and they got to stay really tight. And I kind of regret that we didn't get to stay as tight as lives kind of went different directions. But I think if it is possible, I'd really advise people to really think about moving out. It's scary. It sucks. People that come from the cities and suburbs, their class of 2000 has 150 people going to the U, so they have connections. There's three other people in my school that went to the U, and we were all in totally different things. And like you said, in a population of 50K, you're spread.
yeah,
So there's isolation, and it's a new experience. But I truly think there's so much to learn about yourself that way, and you won't always face that unless you force yourself to. And I
yeah,
mean, I guess I have no regrets. I was really blessed to make the right decision, hopefully, but
yeah.
I really think getting out helped.